What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie298 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And today I want to talk to you about the Game Awards. Now, I know it's almost been a week, but I did travel out to the Game Awards, and it took me a little bit of time to recuperate after the awards. Plus, I wanted to digest everything that I saw. But in this video, I want to talk about what the Game Awards got right. I want to talk about what the Game Awards got wrong. I want to talk about the games that they announced. And just some of the events that happened at the Game Awards. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Game Awards, I won a Game Award back in 2016. I got Trending Gamer. They changed the title of that category, but Ninja won it this year. So that's kind of weird that me and Ninja kind of own the same Game Award for the same topic. That's weird, because Ninja is way richer than I'm ever going to be. But congratulations, Ninja. But I bring that up not just to brag, I bring that up also to remind you that as a past winner, I'm pretty much allowed to go to the Game Awards and get a free ticket. I still have to pay for my flight, I still have to pay for my hotel room, I still have to pay for everything else, but I got like a $75 value free ticket allowed entry into the venue. So that might skew slightly how I feel about the Game Awards, and I just think it's important you know that. But I want to say this was the least cringy year so far. It really does look like Jeff is listening to the feedback. He's listening to what creators have to say, people who watch the show, fans, industry experts, and they really, really reduced on the cringe. Now that I've gotten home and I've digested it a little bit, there were some moments that I think were a little cringier than they needed to be, and we'll talk about those first.
Yeah, that's a good shelfie, my friend.
Did you just say shelfie?
See, it's a crustacean thing.
So look, I love the Muppets as much as the next guy. I don't love that particular Muppet. And just that entire exchange was kind of cringy and kind of weird and seemed kind of pointless. I get it. Getting Disney involved, getting a Muppet involved is pretty cool, Jeff. I understand that. But that particular sketch needed some work. So when it comes to music at an awards show, I know some people love it, some people hate it. In the past, the music of the Game Awards tend to be stuff like Imagine Dragons for no real good reason. Just that we got the Imagine Dragons, just maybe people will tune in for that. This year, the music was a lot more relevant. I was a huge fan of the orchestra playing video game music. I think that was fantastic. I would love to see that every single year. When it comes to stuff like the Devil May Cry advertisement playing the theme song live, the one I just showed you, just doesn't really seem to fit. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't seem that entertaining. And if the folks who made Devil May Cry paid Jeff for that spot, to participate in the show, I understand that. I get that. You got to make a buck. That's one way to run an ad. But it always just takes me out of the moment. It takes me out of the awards show. It just takes me out of it all when Imagine Dragons or the Devil May Cry team or whoever it is comes up to play a song. It just always frustrates and irks me. I know not everybody feels that way. Let me know in the comments section below if you do. But I will say another award show, when we do musical numbers, they tend to be like Neil Patrick Harris with a bunch of dancers doing cool stuff, talking about the show, talking about the year, talking about the year's movies. I think I would welcome something like that more, but I know a lot of people won't feel that way. But it's a minor nitpick. At the end of the day, doing 5 or 10 minutes of music in a 2-hour show is forgivable.
I really won this shit. Oh my god. Hey, look, Mom.
So I've seen a lot of people hating on this particular moment of the Game Awards. There is a fighting game aficionado by the name of Sonic Fox, and he won Esports Gamer of the Year. And I presume that is by popular vote because that category was voted on. But a lot of people have loved to hate on the guy for several different reasons. Some people just love to hate on him because he's black. Some people love to hate on him because he's gay. Some people love to hate on him because he's a furry. I don't agree with any of that. A lot of people have pointed out that his speech went very, very long, that it was very awkward, that it was very unusual. I can understand that, but honestly, sitting there in the audience watching him give his speech, I found it to be very endearing. I kind of fell in love with the guy. I love people who are weird and unique and different and bizarre, and this guy is all of those things. He wore his furry fox costume onto the stage to accept his award. That's amazing. That's hysterical. I love it. It made me fall in love with the guy.
Gay? Black? A furry? Pretty much everything a Republican hates.
But a lot of people took offense at the joke he made at Republicans' expense, saying that, they would hate a person like him. And I live in Arkansas, surrounded by a lot of Republicans who would not care about any of that stuff. So it did kind of suck to see Republicans get lumped in like that, but it was just a joke and a throwaway joke at that, I think. I don't feel like it had a place at the Game Awards, but I will say when those cameras are on you, when the entire studio is looking at you, I having won an award myself, it is very easy to make a stupid mistake like that or make a stupid joke like that because of the anxiety, because of the pressure. So I'm not going to fault the guy for that one joke, but I do feel it felt a little out of place compared to this.
From Nintendo, Reggie Fils-Aimé. From PlayStation, Sean Layden. And from Xbox, Phil Spencer.
As an industry, we are most powerful when we come together, united by our common love for the art form of games.
See, this is what Jeff has always excelled at, and I love to celebrate this with Jeff, because it is one night where we set aside politics, we set aside our industry differences, we set aside competition, and everybody just gets together and just celebrates. And the fact that Jeff has enough clout and power to get the representatives of the three major console manufacturers together onto one stage talking about that, talking about unity, that's what I think the Game Awards is all about. And I love that. I love that Jeff has the clout and the capacity to do that. Nobody else in the industry has that kind of power other than Jeff Keighley for this one award show, and I think it's amazing he arranged this moment. I really wish he could have gotten Gabe Newell up there as well. I think that would have been fantastic. Now, there were certainly advertisements this year, but they were handled very, very well. Instead of running right down the middle of the awards show, they took place like in between the awards or things along that lines. There was no chic bot or anything like that. There were a couple of categories that were presented by a brand, which I thought was fine. There were some moments that, would interrupt the flow of the show to show off a new game or show off a new world premiere. But for the most part, they were all handled really interesting and really well. For example, having Ed Boon come out and announce, the winner of a category, just to have that interrupted by a giant Mortal Kombat 11 reveal, I think that was actually brilliant. It was really well handled. It was really well done. I loved Ed doing it. I loved Jeff Keighley doing it. The announcement of Joker coming into Smash, I think the way they handled that was risky and weird, but really cool and really well done. If you're going to integrate an advertisement into your show, that is a good way to do it. Another thing that Jeff had done that always bothered me about the Game Awards is that he would give away some awards before the proper show actually began. I was actually okay with the way they did it this year because they still read every nominee, they still showed them on screen, and they gave away the awards in the pre-stream, and I think that was great. Then for some of the smaller awards during the actual show, he once again would read off every nominee and then present the award to that game. I think it was a small improvement, but it was an improvement that made a difference. I would always cringe when he would say, oh, and by the way, so-and-so won best video game with an E in it or whatever. It was always just kind of cringy and stupid, but doing it this way really, really felt better. Now, a lot of presenters have rubbed people the wrong way in the past, and I have to say, Joel McHale getting announced this year did seem like a setup for disaster. If you're unfamiliar, Joel McHale did the Game Awards as a co-host one year and pretty much just mocked the audience throughout the entire awards show, which did not feel very much like an awards show. Having Joel back on the stage was risky, but pretty great. Joel did a wonderful job of presenting. He did a wonderful job of self-deprecating humor, marking the moment of his triumphant return. Really made me love the guy again. Not that I ever disliked him. It's just I didn't like that one performance, but overall, for the most part, I think stuff like that and the other presenters, whether it was a YouTuber like Jacksepticeye or whether it was someone from the industry itself or somebody from outside of the industry that just loved to play video games, I thought all the presentations were just really spot on.
Read it, boy.
And it's little details like that moment that really just kind of drive the entire thing home to make it feel like a legitimate award show. That's what the Oscars does well. That's what the Grammys do well. It's all of these little in-jokes, all of these little industry jokes, all of these little nods to the video games, to the movies, to the products that really just makes it all kind of cool. And I think more moments like that, less moments like the whole shelfie thing, and I think you're going to have a really good award show. Easily this was the best so far. And more moments like that, it's just going to put it over the top. And then when it comes to the game trailers themselves, I loved them, obviously. No more cringy world premiere just before every single one of them. You just pretty much went into the commercials with Jeff saying that it was a world premiere, saying it was a first-time announcement, and that was a much better marked improvement. But the way that they integrated a lot of those advertisements or those trailers into the show itself, and we talked about Joker for Smash Brothers, but the Smash Brothers announcer would also say during the ads, hey, you'll be able to enjoy this in 3 hours because I know you're watching this live at the Game Awards. The game is coming out in a couple of hours. Or there's the whole Stanley Parable thing, a trailer built exclusively for the Game Awards. And of course, like the Mortal Kombat announcement. All of that is really, really smart. That is smart marketing. That is well done. It is enjoyable. It is unique. It's unique to the experience itself. And when you can get companies to do that, Jeff, you are winning. You're winning players over, and you're making sales, and you're making the industry happy. That's the right way to do it. I love that stuff, but I know not everybody will, and if you disagree with that point, I want to hear about that. The reality of it is, this was the best gaming awards show to date. I enjoyed every second of it. I watched it once live. I came home and I watched it again to see the experience that you guys saw. I saw the archive of it, and I have to say, I absolutely love it. This is the best job Jeff has ever done. And when it comes to the actual cringe, it had very little to do with the actual show itself and had more to do with the presenters, had more to do with the people winning the awards. And that's not something Jeff can control. He can't control people's acceptance speech. He can't write that for them. He's just going to give them 2 or 3 minutes to do whatever they want to with those 2 or 3 minutes. It's up to them. And you see stuff like that at every award show. But when it comes to the stuff that Jeff can actually control, I think it was top notch. I think it was the best award show gaming has ever had, period. The good news is there is room for improvement. There'll always be room for improvement, and I hope that Jeff Keighley sees this video. I hope he takes some of those moments and realizes that there is room for improvement, and he continues to improve it. I'd love to see that show get better and better and better. But I'm curious as to what you guys think. Did you watch the Game Awards this year? What did you think? That whole surprise God of War winning Game of the Year after Red Dead Redemption won almost every other category. They won best soundtrack, best sound effects, best action game, best role-playing game, best indie game, best sports game. How did you win all of those games? I don't get it. And not win game of the year? It's a popularity contest at the end of the year. You're the folks who voted it in. It's so weird to see them get selected in every other category and then God of War win. But again, like I said, God of War, I think, is my personal game of the year anyway, so it makes a lot of sense. But I'm going to wrap this up. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon, and I look forward to reading your comments.